So it's almost Christmas time, and that means it's the best time to convince your friends and family to buy some Bitcoin, especially since some of them are probably still skeptics even though you've been raving about it for a few years now. But I have a very convincing multi-part plan to share with you so that you can use it to switch them over and get on the Bitcoin bandwagon. And I'm going to share all of that in this video. And while you're watching it, please also let me know down in the comments how you would improve this plan as well, so that we can all come together and do our job during the holidays to get more adoption. Welcome back to Bitcoin for Beginners. I'm your host, Kevin, and we're usually doing deep dive content on complex topics with no frills or fluff. And this is a fun topic though, but I am going to go in depth, giving you a plan filled with examples, graphics you can show them, different types of questions you can ask them to help them challenge their own entrenched mindset. And so without further ado, let's get started. Now, what is the first thing to do is to anchor for them. Okay, ask them what is the amount that they would retire with. Tell them that if they put X amount into Bitcoin at the last halving date, then they'd be Y% there already. You can help them visualize the trade in the past too, like let's say in July 9th, 2016, which was 2 halvings ago because the last one we just passed earlier this year. At that point to now, it jumped from $650 to $20,000. That was a massive jump. And Bitcoin did similarly massive jumps in previous halving cycles, if you remember. Tell them if they put 50K in Bitcoin back then, it would now be a cool 1.5 mil. And let's say that their personal goal is 5 mil to retire. Let's say they're already older, like your parents or your aunts and uncles, for example. Then they'd be 30% there already. And that's not counting the rest of their savings, their IRAs, 401ks, pensions, whatever, right? This is just part of their investment put into Bitcoin. And you can also tell them maybe some anecdotes about other friends you know who are open-minded and got in early, maybe when you told them to, and they got massive gains, like 3 to 5x already. But also, I don't necessarily like to use the word early because I think we still have a lot of room to run for many years for Bitcoin. Next, you also can tell them it's not too late, right? Because people might say that all the gains were in the past. But if you look at Bitcoin sliced a few different ways, it's still early. Like compared Bitcoin's market cap to different large companies around the world. Currently, at time of shooting, Bitcoin's market cap is around 350 billion, and it's only the 14th largest compared to other big cap corporations. If you put it next to them, it's less than Amazon, Apple, Google, Alibaba, Tesla, Walmart, even JP Morgan, right? You can also compare to different countries' overall money supplies, and Bitcoin's not even too high on there yet, but it could get much higher as it continues to grow and appreciate in price as well. You could also compare to gold and other commodities, right? Gold has a 9 trillion total market cap, way more than Bitcoin's, and Bitcoin's supposed to be digital gold, right? And silver's market cap is estimated pretty wide range, but I saw numbers around 800 billion, so even less than silver. Bitcoin definitely has room to run before it gets to those levels. And then they may ask why these are fair comparisons, and that is a fair question. You could show this chart, which comes from Mustap Murad from Twitter, and it shows how Bitcoin's evolution as a money can happen, right? We're in the early stages, and if you study historical monies in the past, they went from collectibles to store of values to medium of exchange, finally to unit of account. That also corresponds with an increasing rise in the total market cap. And so we're not close to the late stages yet, right? We're getting close to store of value, but we're not perfectly there yet. And it takes time, and the Lindy effect, which you should look up if you haven't heard before, just gets stronger and stronger as time goes along. You can show them that is how money evolves, and Bitcoin, there's no reason to believe it's not on that path as well. And it's also not too late to get amazing yield on your cryptocurrencies. Thanks to our sponsors for this video, Matrixport. They are a spin-off of Bitmain, based in Singapore, and they offer a variety of financial services for the crypto world, like trading, lending, custody, and so forth. They have a lot of stuff, but I have their app here, and they are offering better rates than both BlockFi, Celsius, and all the other ones lately. If you scroll down to fixed income and look at the various products, you can see They have a USDC newcomer special. This is limited time, first come, first serve. And they're offering 18% annualized yield for this limited newcomers. They have a 7-day lockup period, and there is a limited amount of quota left. So definitely, if you already utilize BlockFi or Celsius or Nexo, come check out Matrixport down below and their simple mobile app available on both iPhone and Android. Next up, they may have a question of legitimacy, right? Very fair question as well. You can bring up several different examples to kind of sway them on this matter. One is institutions are coming on board. We have a lot of big name ones: Square, MicroStrategy, which is listed on NASDAQ, Mass Mutual, and many more coming on board every week now. These are publicly traded and very legitimate firms that they probably have heard of too. These companies are choosing to hold Bitcoin as the reserve asset instead of just having it all in USD. This is a big move and big vote of confidence too. Also, big name investors are slowly coming on board, right? We always heard big name ones like Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, Bill Gates not liking it, but just as iconic investors and respected ones are coming on board, we got Stanley Druckenmiller, Paul Tudor Jones, and even Ray Dalio recently changed his mind slightly, saying that it could be a gold-like substitute in your portfolio. They may also say Bitcoin's not a legit type of money, no one's going to use it. But ask them, right? Did they know how money has evolved over time? They can check out this timeline right here. There are different forms of money in history. We started from a barter system to some shells to early forms of coins to gold-backed paper currency to fiat currency with nothing backing it, which is right now. And then what's the future, right? They can't say that it's always going to stay the same. Money has always evolved over time, right? So if they keep that in mind, you can ask them, what is it going to evolve into next? Why not Bitcoin, right? That's a great question they should ask themselves. After all, US dollar is looking more and more like monopoly money these days. Check out this chart you probably have seen floating around the crypto space, the M1 chart, which is the money supply, coins or bills in circulation. They are printing like crazy, central banks all around the world, and have zero interest rate policies. So there's really nowhere to park your cash. So a lot of people just buy stocks, leading to the mania that we see in recent weeks and months. Even Neil Kashkari, president of the Federal Reserve Bank in Minneapolis, literally said that we could have infinite dollars.
There's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
Infinite dollars, right? Think about that. What would our dollars be worth in the future if they're just going to print infinity? And how fast will your purchasing power drop? Remember, back in the day, you can get a steak for just a few dollars. Now a steak dinner is like $30 to $50 depending on what city you live in. So how fast will your purchasing power drop, right? You can also show them this chart of world reserve currencies and ask what's next. USD won't last forever. That goes against history. We went from Portugal to Spain to Great Britain and a lot of other ones, right? But we're not gonna last forever. That's just bucks history, bucks the trend. Even if back in the day, Great Britain's and all their might and glory seemed like it's gonna last forever, it didn't. We're not gonna last forever. We already see countries losing their faith in USD. And some have even tried to move away from it in terms of their trading, like China and Russia, or like Saudi Arabia, for example, in recent years. So will it be the Chinese yuan, or hopefully something more decentralized like Bitcoin? Ask them that too. Let that simmer in their brains. Next up is to bring up risk and reward when discussing this with them. It's really such an asymmetric investment, Bitcoin is, that is. Yes, you can lose 100% of the money you put in, but you could also gain way more than 100%, right? And if this was a casino game with these odds, you'd be stupid not to play it. But obviously with the casino case and Bitcoin case, just don't put all of your 100% savings into it. It's really high risk and high reward, right? We think of Bitcoin as inevitable, but it will still have wild volatility and swings as we are in the early days, like we've discussed earlier. So just tell them in advance so they can stomach the swings, they can get ready mentally for it. And tell them that there's big drawdowns of like 30 to 40% even in a bull market, and up to like 80 to 90% in a bear market. But Bitcoin's macro cycle so far has always brought it higher and higher. Lastly, you can also give them a clear, approachable, and responsible strategy to utilize, instead of just convince them of Bitcoin and let them off into the winds to fend for themselves, right? You can show them our dollar cost averaging video, how they don't have to put it all in, and could just buy regularly regardless of what the price action is. You can also tell them to set aside part of their diversified portfolio for Bitcoin. But it is addictive though, so give them fair warning about that. Once you get your hands on some Bitcoin and you have some profits, you'll want way more. You know this, I know this, we all know this. I mean, I know some people who even ended up selling all their tech stocks to buy Bitcoin after a few months of waiting around. And that happens to be a great plan for them right now, but who knows if they'll be able to stomach the swings in the future. Just tell them not to take out loans for it and get overextended, especially because last time people got wrecked for doing that. And we don't want that to happen to our friends and family. Give them a clear plan to take profits too and tell them to stick to it. They should come up with a plan before it starts rocketing, at what levels, what percentage they're going to take some profits at. Have a long-term plan in mind and just let them know this isn't really great for swing trading for newbies. That's a surefire way to lose money. All right, so that's my plan that you should share with your friends and family this Christmas break, how to convince them and answer their objections to becoming a Bitcoin investor, right? We have legitimacy, we have critiques of the USD, we have many reasons to share why it's not too late, we have the anchoring strategy, and so forth. Use these when at the dinner table, when chilling with your friends and family, and let me know what they say. Let me know if you have any recommendations as well down in the comments below about other things you can bring up to get them interested. I'm Kevin here from Bitcoin for Beginners. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you guys next time.